If you're writing work instructions you hope people will follow, the steps are going to have to be not only clear but actionable. Too often, it's easy to include lots of helpful information in procedures and work instructions, but not realizing that extra information can actually distract the user from what are the steps they're supposed to take. So let's talk about that today. How do we know when something is an actual step or when it is information? How do we make our steps easy to follow and act on? My name's Erin Labax. This is High Value Writing. Thank you so much for being here for part 2 of our Writing Clear Work Instructions series. Here's a link to part 1. If you missed that, we talked about writing for your user, audience awareness. We do not want to write work instructions from the point of view of anyone except the people who are going to carry out those tasks, using the language they use, etc. We also talked about being clear and concise and using plain language. Today, we'll add in this concept of differentiating between what is just informative and helpful to know, but what is actually a step that a user needs to take. And we don't want them to be confused about which is which. So we will be talking about how to take your helpful information and make it not only helpful, but actionable. So we'll look at how to take that helpful information that you want to provide and make it truly actionable. We'll also look at, hey, how do I know whether something is informative or instructive? How can I write things in a way in steps, work instructions, procedures, where it's all instructive, not just extra information? And for that instructive part to really work as clear, actionable steps, we're going to want to do these 4 things, and a whole lot of examples are on their way to show what these look like. Lead every step with a command verb, the verb that sounds like do it. Talk about actions. Make sure you're truly giving your users actions, not descriptions. We have a couple examples coming up where it's not really an act, it's just a description of what should happen, rather than telling you what to do. We want to include only the information needed to take action in these kinds of instructions. If you do need to provide other information, you can often add a note or use the overview or introduction or a pairing policy for some of that information as well. Let's get right into the examples. So our first idea there is lead with a command verb. Now I'll tell you, these are all real. Let me know if you've seen some instructions like this where it's just not that actionable. So we've taken some real examples and done some before and afters. Let's take a look. A before might be, there are 2 items of tooling that must be selected for any given material size, a clamp and a bushing. Nice to know. If you find yourself thinking nice to know, that might be a statement more than an instruction. What is it that I do? Let's lead with a command verb. Select the correct clamp and bushing for the given material size. That's a great example at how we need to, instead of just stating a thing that needs to happen, actually telling someone what they need to do. Another similar example, the before, final inspections are recorded on the final inspection tab of the work order. Oh, are they? Right? What do I need to do? Record inspection results on the final inspection tab of the work order. Always remembering that user is looking for that first word to tell them what to do. If you need to add other information, you can do it after or elsewhere, as we'll see. Okay, let's add in another component as we continue to look at command verbs. And this one is, what if something is just describing what's wanted instead of saying how to do it? And that happens a lot, as you can see from these real examples. And let me know if this has happened with your writing before or somewhere that you work, right? And you find instructions and you're not sure what to do because it's too descriptive, not actionable. Here's something descriptive. Shipping package is closely secured to prevent the package from opening during shipping. It sounds like a good idea, but again, it is not written in a way of action. It's more describing the outcome that they're hoping for. Instead, we might say close the shipping package securely to prevent opening during shipping. Once again, we see that command verb, but more importantly, we've put it into the framing of what the user will do instead of just describing what we want the outcome to be. Another similar example, The certificate of conformance, packing slip, and any other required documentation is placed in the shipping package. Another nice description of how the outcome should go, but what do I do? Place the certificate of conformance, packing slip, and any other required documentation in the shipping package. We did see those command verbs. We reframed these to be through the mind of the user. What is my step? Want to add a little tidbit here, a little tip. If you see the word is in some of your steps, you might have written a description instead of an action. Usually when we see is, it's not an action. What does it mean to is? We would not have that as one of our steps. If that's in your sentence, it's probably being used to describe how things are, how this is, how we want it to be. So that's a tip. Quick link to a video on using strong visual verbs instead of is and are. It's actually more concise and more clear and more meaningful, as well as being more actionable. All right, we have a couple more examples to look at, and this one is about what do we do when we are layering in extra information that's really a nice to know, more than something about the action. All product that is released to a customer with a certificate of conformance requires a final inspection to be performed, and the parts must pass this inspection as required per SOP 012. This is really a descriptive statement. It's a lot of information about how the process works, which is helpful, but it is not about my step and the action I need to take. This could potentially go earlier in a document. It could go in a policy if we're writing a paired procedure. If it's a work instruction, maybe it will go earlier in the document. But for the actual step itself, perform is our command verb, final inspection in accordance with SOP 012, right? All right, and if you do want to include extra information near the step, it may be something that can go in a note, because we know we don't want to just add it on as padding to that step, because that could be confusing if it doesn't sound like action. Here's an example. Only the information needed to act will go in the step, but we'll move something to a note. Before, inspect the workstation for parts left behind from the previously completed lots. It may be necessary to use a dental pick or magnet to check for or remove parts from the cleaning tanks. Are you telling me to do that second part or not? That might be the question of the user. What we don't want is to allow someone to spend their time wondering or being confused, because now we have room for error, room for procrastination, room for confusion, right? Just keep to what is needed to do the step, which is inspect the workstation for parts. A little bit of helpful information, though, is to tell you a little bit about how to do that, or what you might be looking for, or what you might see in the end to tell you if you've done it. That type of information can go in a note. So here we could have note, it may be necessary to use a dental pick or magnet to check for or remove parts from the cleaning tank. And so we're able to see there, as a user, I still know that my step is inspect. I'm not being told I definitely need these other tools, but I'm being told the information in case it's helpful to use those. All right, so to wrap it up, here's kind of a summary of some do's and don'ts for writing clear work instructions that have actionable steps specifically. Do provide one step at a time. Begin each step with a command verb that sounds like do it, right? Clarify if it's relevant. When? Is it before or after something? Where? Is it in a certain place with a certain thing? How much? How little? With a resource? If necessary, you can add that in there. Use a note, though, for something outside the step itself. Add more information if you need to elsewhere. If you're writing a procedure, chances are good that some of the informative pieces would go in the policy, or you can always use an introduction or a note. Make sure, though, to not combine multiple steps into one step. It can be hard to tell when something is more than one step. As you're reading closely, you can actually try what would it take to do these movements, and then you'll notice, oh, this is actually a second set of steps or actions. Take it out, right? Do not begin your steps with it or with something descriptive of how you want things to look. That is not the same as how to do it. We don't want to say it is important that A looks like B. Tell them what to do to make A look like B. And do not include information that's not needed for the user's action. It might be very interesting, but if it doesn't help the user act, it does not go in the steps. So thank you so much for watching. We'll be following up with part 3 soon, looking at design and scannability, how to make documents like this easy to use visually. Please let me know what your questions are, what else you might be wondering, or if you've gone through some of these decisions yourself about what to include in a step and what to take out. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon.